Hey, it's celebrity trainer Mark Jenkins. For you guys who don't know me, I have the most celebrity clients ever of any trainer. But the question posed to me today was, what have I learned from training all these celebrities and successful people? And it would be a super long YouTube video if I talked about everything I learned. I learned so much, but I'm just gonna pick a few, maybe 3 or 4 celebs, and then I'll talk about what I learned from them. So let's talk about Beyonce. Let's get it started. What I learned from Beyonce, and she was quite early in her career, and I was so impressed with her, was that she just wanted to win, So anything that I asked her to do, not only did she do it without batting an eye, without questioning me, but she really attempted to do it with her best ability. It wasn't a half-ass effort. And I was just like, my initial impression was, wow, I can't believe this young lady is so young and so disciplined and so focused and so hungry for the win. In her overall picture, it didn't matter what I asked her to do, whether it was running and singing, lifting heavy weight, doing a crazy exercise. She never ever questioned what I was doing. She just went for it and really applied herself. And you can see so many years later why her career is so incredible, because she is really super disciplined and super focused and willing to do what it takes. So me training her, I was like, wow, man, if I could apply that to what I'm doing, I'll be number one. And I did apply a lot of that stuff, and it definitely did benefit me. She's super disciplined, and I was very impressed with her level of discipline and commitment at her age. And even as an adult, most adults don't have that level of discipline and focus that I'm training today. So shout out to her. I'll talk about D'Angelo next. What I learned from D'Angelo is he's able to shut out the noise. He's able to shut out outside musical influences, and he's able to listen to the voice within himself and create. Thus, his music sounds different than everybody else's. And although he has elements from the greatest artists, you can tell that it's really something original that's coming from inside of him. And what I took from that was to apply that to my own training style and system, and to shut off the noise and really look inside to what resonated with me and apply that to my training style and my system. And I think when I do that, I'm better able to reach clients. I approach it from a scientific level, but also from a creative level, in keeping the person stimulated. And that's what I got from him. He's like a super intelligent guy. So a lot of the conversations that we had on different topics, I was like, wow, he's able to take everything and all this information, but at the same time, not be influenced by it. Or I should say, be influenced by it in an organic way, as opposed to a copycat way. So I got that from him, just to be myself and let my own training style or voice resonate, and to shut off all the noise from the other trainers and the other training systems and all the other fad diets and all the other stuff that's working, that's making people a lot of money, but it's not really reaching the core and transforming people. So I think my clients stay in shape longer as they make it more of a lifestyle, and I'm able to get more out of the client because I try to really reach in on an energetic level. And when you listen to his music, you understand what I'm saying. Another person I got a lot from was the late great lawyer, one of the greatest, I guess, Johnny Cochran. Johnny Cochran was well into his 60s when I started training him. He passed, so rest in peace, Johnny. And we used to train 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'd be like, yo, Johnny, why are we training so early, man? Like, you bossed up. You don't really have to train this early. And he was like, when I train in the morning, I feel like I can impose my will on everything I do because I took care of myself. And that's something that always resonated with me. He was really a force of nature. His mental tenacity, this guy was like a mental giant. His force of will, his sheer willpower, and he knew that doing certain things would enhance his willpower. If it was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning after, working all night training. And Johnny, shout out to him, any type of idea I had, if I gave him something on paper, he'd have an opinion for it the next day. Mark, you should do it like this. So he really took the time out within his busy day, being this super lawyer with all these super crazy cases, to steer me in the right direction as a young trainer. So he always made a lasting impact on me. And let's talk about another one. I'll talk about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, big film producer, mogul now, has got million TV shows. But when I was training him, he was doing the Medea plays. And what was interesting about Tyler Perry was that, we were talking one day and he was like, Mark, I got to answer these emails. And I was like, you got to answer emails? You don't have staff? He goes, anybody that emails me who's a fan, I answer them back. And I was like, you answer every single email of every single fan? I'm sure he can't do that now because of the multitude of fans and the level of success. But still, I was like, yo, how long does that take? And he was like, maybe 3-4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. So this guy, who was already a multimillionaire, already successful, would take the time out to answer every single email of every fan that hit him. And I was like, but why? And he was like, yo, I connect with my audience. They really know that I'm there for them. And they support me. And I was like, wow, man, that's heavy. So, and genius at the same time. So that is something that always stuck out to me. I said, man, especially when I get lazy and I get tired of responding to people, I always think about, man, you're not half as successful, not even a quarter as Tyler Perry. And he was able to answer every email. So you can do it, Mark. So I always look at my clients for motivation. They're looking at me for motivation, but I'm looking at them for motivation at the same time. So, it was truly an honor and a learning experience to deal with Tyler Perry. Quite an interesting guy. LL Cool J was another one. I'll tell a LL Cool J story that's quite interesting. We were training for a movie, Mindhunters, and we were in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, filming this movie in the dead of winter. And this guy was training his ass off for this movie because I think he was playing a cop. We were actually running through the mountains, sparring every mile, and then continue running. And he was so competitive, he'd be elbowing me at the end trying to win the race. It really got a little competitive with us at times. But, always friendly, but, little elbow here and there running. He did not want to lose. But that's not what I found interesting about him. LL, during that time, he would fill his room up full of desserts, full of bad food as he was dieting. And he'd be like, I order every single dessert on the menu. I put it in my room just to practice detachment and discipline. And that's my LL Cool J story. I was like, shit, man, that is super gangster, man. He put every single food that was delicious that the hotel had, every dessert in the room, and just practiced detachment. So he was quite advanced with his willpower and knew how to strengthen his willpower and didn't shy away from the challenge. And he never broke his diet every single time we worked together. He's always super dedicated and super focused. And he put it to the test every single time and came out stronger. LL is also he's also a beast when it comes to acquiring knowledge. So he was always taking different courses, reading different books. But strangely enough, we only listened to Public Enemy and Jimi Hendrix the entire time that we trained. So he stayed in his zone. And I think I got that from him as well, to stay in your zone and to be meticulous and to use temptation to further your level of detachment so you could advance yourself. So he's quite a Zen Buddhist character, LL. So shout outs to Todd. And I'll do one more. So I got to break this up into segments. There's so many celebrities I could talk about. I can keep going. I'll do Mary J. Blige. And Mary is quite an inspirational, motivational person. What I got from Mary is to do things with emotional content. Mary, if you've ever seen her live, her shows are really emotional. The audience might start crying. She might start crying. And for someone like me coming from the military who's kind of not wanting to expose myself emotionally, I learned that you connect with people if you have emotional content with what you're doing. Every single night, I've been on tour with her for, I think I trained Mary for 15, 16 years. We had a long run together. And Mary, every night she goes to the show, she puts her full emotion in it. She never dials it in. She never fakes it. Every single show, she's singing her heart out. She's getting emotional on stage. She might start crying, and it reaches people, because people can tell if you're really emotionally invested. And what I got from her was to really be emotionally invested with my clients. I want them to feel that I want them to get in shape as much, if not more so, than they want to get in shape. And I got a lot from Mary from that experience. So shout out to Mary J. Blige, who took me on tour and actually got me out of the projects. So, I'm very grateful and thankful to her eternally. And in conclusion, you can see I'm talking about the same thing in different aspects. It is the mindset, right? It's how you condition yourself. It's how you use situations or adversity to enhance your mindset. So that was the overall rule, but each artist has a different way of expressing that. So you guys should take from this, find your way of strengthening your mindset, find your way of having emotional content, whatever you're interested in, find a way to be meticulous and dedicated to doing it, and do as much research and be tenacious as you can and be disciplined in your approach. This is Mark Jenkins, 52 years old, Brooklyn, New York, the most celebrity clients ever, ever, ever. And if you got a comment or question, leave it on the comments below. Peace and love, guys. Thanks. Stay tuned for part 2.